As we return to the church raid scenario, it's clear that the battle is in the balance at the moment. It looks as though the Saxon Hearthguard have taken the centre of the battlefield, although one warrior group has been routed on the left-hand edge of the table and another is suffering from a lot of shock. The Scotty Raiders, meanwhile, under the command of Lord Ronald MacDonald, are spread far and wide. One group on the left, having chased the Saxons, one group top centre, desperately trying to remove shock, and one group of raiders near the church, bottom right. One final group of Scotty raiders is the noble raider cavalry, just off shot to the below the church. They're held in ambush position, awaiting their chance to pounce on any unsuspecting Saxon group. Let's see what the next episode brings. So, Scotty Leader 1. Does he crack on raiding, or should he go and help his lord? I think he ought to really go and help his lord. I think that's a fair one. So they're going to abandon the church for a minute and start to get over. The Saxon missiles, they will move 2 and then fire at the Scotty over here. Two hits, and it's 4, 5 shock, 6 kill, another point of shock. So they are now on 7 points of shock. They have 5, so that is 2 excess, so they go back 2. They go 2 away from where the attack was, which was the missiles. So as we can see, the whole of the Scotty force has now been pushed back on their right-hand flank. But we've forgotten about somebody. The Scotty Cavalry. They are only really good against people that are broken, or not broken, have more shock. So certainly they're going to steam in now, he says, and get in behind the Saxons, I think, see what we can do. So actually, that's not a bad roll. It's 13 plus 6, which is 19. Look out, here they come. Next up, it's Scotty skirmishers. So they will move within 6 inches of the Hearthguard there with 2 dice, which they do. They will fire, or throw their javelins, 4, 5, 6 to hit, 2 hits, and 5, 6 shock, 2 shock. There we go. So Scotty skirmishers started to do something useful. There'll be 1 shock on each group. Next up is Saxon Leader 1. Well, that's good news for him because he's got to detach himself from the routing group. He gets 9. Saxon Leader 2, he'll take off 2 more shock. They're now down only 1 point of shock because he is wounded. So they're on 3 at the moment. And the last card is Scotty missiles, but they are gone. So that is the end of the round. Scotty Cavalry are in next. Now they could charge in here. They had 1 dice, 1d6 in close combat for each point of shock on their opponent. So they'll get an extra 3 there, if they get in, obviously. I could play Bounding Move to help them get in, so they'll have 4 dice plus 8. Saxons will be on 5, 4, 5, and these guys will be on 7, and they're elite. Actually, it's worth it. Let's go for it. Bounding Move is played, so 4 dice plus 8. That's 13, 21, yep, no problem. they are in. So can the noble Raider Cavalry redeem themselves from their pathetic effort last time around in the cattle raid? Let's do some calculations then. So I think it's 4, 5, 6, 7 for the Scotty, and 1 because they're elite. So they're on 8. Whereas the Saxons have 5 less 1 for shock is 4 plus 1 for the Lord. They are 5. It's 4, 5 shock to hit. 4, 5, 6 to hit. So they get 3 hits. This could be an all or nothing by the Raider Cavalry. Especially for that throw. They get 2 hits. Not ideal. Right, let's do the damage on the Saxons first. 1 point of shock. And on the cavalry, 1 point of shock. I think they've got away with that. So they go again. Okay, so second round of combat, the Scotty are actually going to be better off because I've looked at the rules and they say that nothing about the first charge in for the effective shock. So there's 4 of them, plus 4 shock on the enemy means 8. And 1 for being superior. So they go on 9, whereas the Saxons are on 5, less 2 is 3, plus 1 for Elf Djinn. Elf Djinn, they're on 4. So it's 4, 5, 6 to hit. 4 hits from the Saxons. And the Scotty, also 4. Okay, so 4, 5 shock, 6 kill. That's a cocky. 4, 5 shock, 6 kill. So they're on 3 shock now. And 1 kill. That might be the last throw, literally, of the cavalry. And in return, a 5 is a kill. Is it the Lord? Sorry, the noble? It is. He's killed. Elf Djinn is killed because he's lost 2 hits, 2 wounds now. So let me just work out the bad things. 1. So a noble killed on a 1 is no effect. That's interesting. So that's good for the Saxons' morale because they're only on they're on 2. There is net 1 to the Saxons. However, there is no excess shock, and therefore they stay in combat. Scotty skirmishers are up next. Well, they will simply continue firing at the Hearthguard. 1 hit and 1 shock. Saxon leader 1 is Elfwine. So I guess he can get in here and take over this group. Why not? Why not indeed? He will move 3 and that's him in. Excellent. I don't think he can do anything else though. Alright, next up is Saxon Lord. He's going to draw a card and he gets bounding move. I think he is going to go in for the kill. I think he's got to really. So he'll play bounding move. He'll take off 1 point of shock for 1. Play bounding move, so therefore he gets 4 dice of movement. These will evade on the way through. I've got to take 1 dice off because of shock, and let's see how far the Scotty, the Saxon Lord can get his Hearthguard. 11 less 1 is 10. Well, he doesn't make it. Rather disappointing for Lord Edwin. Perhaps they're not really inspired by his leadership. The skirmishers will evade. They will also fire and get 3 hits, and it's 5 and 6 shock, so 1 more shock, so that would have probably slowed them down actually another inch. So there we go. Disappointing from the Lord. Saxon missiles, they will fire at this group of Scotty for 4 close range, 4, 5, 6 hit, 3 hits, 4, 5 shock, 6 kill, 1 shock and 2 kill, which means first of all they will go back 5 inches for excess shock. They are now lost their amphora, so they go another 6. And those are how things happen. 1. And the Scotty lose 1 on force morale. They are now down to 3, and the Saxons are on 2. Right, the Scotty Lord's card has come up. So what does he do? What does he do? He's in danger of getting overrun by this Hearthguard, and the Hearthguard are obviously very strong. I think his best bet is to join up with Bluey McFlurry over to his left, and get over there and start to stabilise the situation. But I suppose you can take off 2 shock and then move. He won't be able to form up because that takes a command initiative, but you can certainly get out of the way. And they will go 8, and they're not moving towards the enemy, so they'll be okay. In fact, they'll just drift back slightly over here. So that's probably not particularly good for the honour, but he's just marshalling his troops a bit better. The final one is Scotty Leader 1, and I think what they will do is they'll move and join up. They're close enough to do that, and so these guys are now 1 formation. I'm assuming that the noble can join a formation with the Lord, even though he's in charge, and now the whole group. I'm saying that is achievable. So that is the end of the turn. Okay, next turn. Scotty skirmishers are up first. They will do their usual against the Hearthguard here. 1 hit and another point of shock. So Saxon Leader 1 is up now. He's now in command of these group of warriors, so that will reignite this combat here. And this will be quite interesting now. So the Saxons will have 5 less 2 is 3, plus 2 for Elf Wine. They're on 5. The Scotty Cavalry will have 3, less 1 for shock is 2, 4 for the shock, so that's 6, and 7, 1 more dice for being elite. So we're hitting on 4, 5, 6. Nothing from the Saxons. And 4 hits in return. Now it's 3, 4 shock, 5, 6 kill, which obviously I didn't know previously. So that's 2 shock, 1 kill. Put the shock on first. Is the kill on Elf Wine? It is not. So they lose 1. Alright, so +1. Withdraw if excess shock. Yes. The warriors have 6 shock, which is 2 excess. They go back 4. And the cavalry would advance 2. Combat for this round has finished. Okay, the Saxons are actually taking a bit of a beating with regards to casualties at the moment, which is interesting. Alright, Scotty Lord is up next. I don't think it will be any surprise that he... well, first of all, no, will he draw a card? No, I think he's got to take the shock off. He'll take 3 shock off. They're now down to 3. Sorry, 2. They're now down to 2. So that makes them a little bit more formidable. Scotty Leader 1 is next to activate. Well, he can't take that shock off. At least I don't think he can, or perhaps he can, I don't know. I mean, it's the same formation. I don't see why not. Yep, I mean, yeah, he's a leader. You take off 2 shocks, so there we are. And now back to no shock. They're all getting rallied. The nobles and the lord are geeing them up. Saxon missiles. Well, I think they're just going to turn around and fire at these noble raider cavalry. 2 hits. And if they get some shock, they're going to be off and running. 5 shock, 6 kill. Nothing. Worth a go. The Saxon Lord is activating. So what does he do? I think we're getting to the stage now where we are we're reaching the pivotal combat. He hasn't really got anything useful to use. I suppose he could take 2 shock off and attempt to get in to the Scotty. He doesn't need much, but he's going to be -1. So he has 7. And that's enough to get them in. Right, so here we go. This must be the fight to the death. So it's 12 for the Saxons. Leader's in, the Lord is in, and his champion. So it's 12, 15, 17. And for the Raiders, we have 6, 10, 12, 15, 17. But also we have 2 extra dice for the Saxons because they are elite, which I forgot. So let's do the Saxons first. They're in the open again, so it's 4, 5, 6 to hit. Too many 1, 2s and 3s there. So he'll have 4 on the Lord and 3 on Bluey's side. Equally good hit coming back. In fact, better. Okay. See what happens here. 3, 4, 5 shock, 6 kill. 3 shock. Three shock. 4, 5 shock, 6 kill. 2 shock. And lastly, 2 shock. Wow. They're all on 3 shock. So no decisive effect there. We go again. So it's 17 dice for the Saxons this time. We've got to do a bit better than last time, I think, and I think that is. It's 4 on Bluey and 5 on the Lord Ronald McDonald. And for the Scotty, oof, that's not good. 3 and 4. Okay. So 3, 4, 5 shock. So just 1 shock. They're on 4. Three shock. They're on 6. That is excess. 2 shock, 1 kill. They got a 5 shock and 1 kill. And Lord Edwin's group is just 1 shock. So they're on 4. So, again, very interesting. Net 1, any excess shock. They're on 5. They got 5 shock. They're on 6 and got 4 shock. No. But the Scotty do have 1 excess shock here, regardless of whether they won or not. They go back 1. And the Saxons will follow up. So that combat continues. Now the last card of the round is the Raider Cavalry, Noble Raider Cavalry. I suppose they can charge in. Nothing to stop them doing that. They got -3, so it's a foregone conclusion. They're in. Reigniting that combat. So bizarrely, the 2 Noble Raider Cavalry, because they lose 1 for shock, get another 6 here, so they're on 8. Plus another 1 for being elite. Whereas the Saxons here are on 3, because they have 4 less 3 is 1 plus elf wine. Those level 2. So 4, 5, 6 is hit. 1 hit from the Saxons. And from the Scotty, 5 hits. Let's see what the Saxons do to the Scotty. No effect, because they are elite. And that is 2 shock and 1 kill. Is it elf wine? It's not. Net 1. They go back. They're on 8, so they go back 5 and rout. And they're off the table. Now that is a warrior group. Bad things happen. It's 4. 2 points. That is the Saxons yet again down to 0 force morale. Unbelievable. I assume now that the Lord Edwin, seeing his forces behind him disintegrate, simply runs away from the battlefield. So I will assume that breakaway can happen without any more hits. Don't really say anything about that. They have actually got an evade card. Says they can fall back before an enemy attack. Well, it says before an enemy attack. So I'm basically going to allow them to withdraw without any further combat. That's an interesting combat. It could have gone either way, but I think that's the end of the turn anyway. And it is another Scotty victory. They won't be pursuing because they're going to go and have a little rummage in the church and see what they can find there, which will be uncontested. And that is the end of the church raid scenario. Again, many things learned. Indeed, many things learnt. What I've seen is playing multiple games and then editing them through quite a lengthy period. You find lots of things that you've missed during the game. I'm still missing shock on skirmishers when they evade in the open. The Scotty Lord should never have routed troops. They should have just detached and moved over to the other raider group. The noble cavalry charging with shock should not have happened. In the rules, any cavalry with shock effectively have blown horses. But to counterbalance that, the Saxon warriors, I discovered a little bit too late, halfway through this scenario, that they shock on a 3 and 4 and are killed on a 5-6, and not shock on a 4-5, kill on a 6, which is elite. So perhaps these errors even out over the last couple of games. Anyway, from my perspective, I had another fun game and really enjoyed it, and it went down to the wire and could have gone either way. From the perspective of losses, the Scotty lost 1 skirmish cavalryman, 1 noble raider cavalryman, and 5 raiders. So that's a total of 7, which count as light losses. The Saxons lost their level 2 noble, Elfgin, killed, 1 elite Hearthguard warrior, 12 warriors, and of course Elfwine routed off the table as well. So the number of killed total losses were 13, which is moderate. So the results for a successful Scotty raid is +2 for the successful raid, +1 for an enemy noble killed, -1 for the number of Scotty killed, but +2 for the number of enemy killed, which makes a total of +4. So the Scotty gain sufficient replacements to replace their light losses in 1 month. They get 2 volunteer warriors or raiders to add to one of their groups, and they also get a thief's horde. The Saxons replaced their losses in 2 months. Therefore, as the church raid took place in May, June, the next month, is an uncontested raid for the Scotty again into the fiefdom of Lord Edwin. And they will net another thief's horde. With my simple maths, this appears to make the Scotty have riches of Rome at the moment. So they're going great guns with all their plunder they're picking up. Lord Edwin, on the other hand, seems to be sinking in ignominy. The next raid will take place in July, and it will be a Scotty raid on a village. The Saxons need to pull their finger out. I hope you'll join me in the next episode to see how the Scotty raiders under Lord Ronald MacDonald get on against Lord Edwin and his Saxons. See you next time.